Hey, what's up? Are you trying to create musical performances with your friends, but you're not physically close to them? Or are you trying to create one of those one-man bands where you perform every single part by yourself? Or are you already doing both those things, but you're just trying to step up your game? Well, stick around, look no further, this video is for you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt, also known as The Brock. Call me what you like, I don't care. Before we get into the video, please make sure you give this video a like, big thumbs up, subscribe so you help me out. Also, if you have any questions during the course of this video, anything you want to tell me, make sure you leave a comment. And if you really want to support me, I have a Patreon, there's a link in the description for that, please check me out. So, you're looking to step up your multi-track game. I'm going to tell you 10 very simple things you can do in order to increase the quality of your videos and make it more enjoyable for your audience. In this video, I'll be talking about methods to level up both the audio and the video qualities of your performances. And at the end of this video, I'm going to list off people who are pros at this and people who I have personally learned from. But make sure you watch the whole video to the end. You're going to want to hear everything I have to say. Don't skip. Alright, let's just hop right into it. Tip number 1. Make sure you take up the whole screen. In my opinion, a big black screen with small video screen scattered across it looks a little awkward. You can fix this by simply zooming to increase the size of your video, as well as cropping to make sure that the video uses up the whole screen. And if you're using a good camera, especially if it's a 4K video, you shouldn't have to worry about the quality reducing if you zoom in a little bit. Most phone cameras these days shoot 4K videos, so high quality videos are extremely accessible these days. And I would say that some phone cameras actually take better videos than actual cameras. And while you're putting your video together, make sure you strategize how you're going to format your videos so that there's no awkward gaps between them, there's no empty space. You want to make sure that it perfectly fits the entire screen at all times. I also highly recommend adding borders to make your videos look more organized and professional as well. So there's a few ways you can do this. You can go to Photoshop and just make a template and then plop your videos into that template. Too easy. You can also use the shape features on video editing software and you can build a template to whatever way you want. You can add borders, any thickness, any size, any length, and you can make your borders that way. Also, very important, the easiest way to make sure that your video takes up the entire screen is to use landscape mode, which brings me to my next point. Tip number 2, use landscape mode. Never use portrait mode. That's illegal, but I shouldn't talk. In my early videos, watch them all, like, comment, subscribe, I used portrait mode because I didn't know any better. I was just starting out, I was a noob. But as soon as I woke up and started using landscape mode, the quality of my videos just skyrocketed, increased dramatically. And just one video in landscape mode, like what you're seeing right now, is enough to take up the entire screen. And that satisfies tip number 1. Which is to take up the whole screen. Portrait mode shows a very reduced amount of picture and it's very hard to fill up the entire screen and make your video look good with it. You end up having to zoom in a lot, which even for the 4K videos might be a little bit too much. It also eliminates most of the background around you, which can take away from the video. Overall, you can get way more out of landscape mode and only really disadvantages from using portrait mode. And it's as simple as turning your phone sideways. If you're using your phone to record the video, just turn it sideways. That's what I do. I use an iPhone 11 to record all my videos and it turns out great. But just the difference between having your phone like this and having your phone like this makes a big difference, and it's very easy to fix that. So in summary, landscape mode, good. Portrait mode, bad. Tip number 3, use an external microphone. Alright, so we're taking a break from the video tips right now. We're going to dive into some audio tips. So, when I was just talking about video, I endorsed iPhone cameras. I said they're good, they're better than some professional actual cameras. The complete opposite is true for audio. Microphones on most phones are nowhere near as good as professional studio microphones. Especially for loud instruments like brass, this easily distorts a phone microphone. So you're going to want a professional quality microphone if you really want to step up your multi-track game. And just to prove it to you, here's 2 recordings. One is done with my phone's microphone and the other is done with the professional microphone that I have. And for this demonstration, I will be playing one of the most iconic, historic, and significant compositions of recent history. for the difference? It's truly night and day, isn't it? And there's many inexpensive options for external microphones. Here's what I use. This is a Behringer C1. It's pretty standard, large diaphragm condenser microphone. I'm actually using it right now to record the audio for this video. It's great for recording. I've used it for all of my videos so far. And I'm actually looking to invest in a small diaphragm microphone once I have some money saved up. The one I want to buy is pretty pricey. I then recommend getting an audio interface, which pretty much takes the sound waves that the microphone picks up and converts it into a clean audio file. What I have here is the Euphoria UM2. It's a simple one-channel interface. These knobs at the top control the gain so that the right amount of sound enters the microphone, but not too much so that the microphone doesn't clip and distort. And this bad boy only costed me about $50. It didn't break the bank at all. It produces clean sound, it doesn't give me any problems, and that's really all I can ask for in an audio interface. And in my opinion, microphones that have XLR cables and plug into an audio interface in general produce a better quality product rather than microphones that are just USB and plug right into your computer. Having this step, I believe, makes a better product. But I'm sure there's a ton of USB microphones out there that do the job just fine. So the microphone goes in here, and then on this side it plugs right into your computer, and I record directly into Logic, which is what I do for all of my projects. Tip number 4, record dry and add reverb later. So I'm a classical musician. Well, maybe not so much anymore, but I'm definitely classically trained. I studied with these guys. So my instinct as a classical brass player especially is to find the most live space as I can, a space where just the sound bounces off all the walls, creates this big echoey resonant sound so I can hear myself and sound like I'm on top of the world. And that's so great for live brass performance, especially classical music. But the complete opposite is true for the recording studio. You want to find a dead space where there's no extra background sounds. You want just the core sound of your instrument to go into the microphone. The reason for this is because it is very hard to take away reverb, but it's incredibly easy to add reverb. And you can add as much reverb to make it fit the tune that you're playing. Maybe classical stuff needs more reverb to make it sound like you're in a concert hall, or maybe more commercial stuff needs less. Just remember not to use too much though. Too much reverb will make it sound fake really quickly. You don't want to be sitting in your bedroom and then it sounds like you're in a cathedral. You're not going to fool anyone, and it's going to take away from your performance because it's just not believable. So just make sure you're not overdoing it. I'm going to take a personal favorite recording arrangement that I made. This is When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish. So let's hear what it sounds like dry without that reverb. It's kind of weird, right? Well, that's what raw flugelhorn sounds like, my friends. Now with the reverb, let's see what that sounds like. Pretty cool, right? Sounds really natural. Tip number 5, invest in better software. Alright, this next step might be a little bit expensive depending on your situation, but I think it makes a world of a difference when you make the investment. There's a really big difference in the products of people who use free software and people who use professional software. It's a huge difference. When you're watching their videos, you can tell if they're using free software, if they're professionals. And it comes down to there's just so much more you can do with the paid professional software and not so much you can do with the free software. And it simply comes down to, just to put it bluntly, are you trying to look like an amateur or are you trying to look like a professional? And if you want to look more professional, if you made it this far in this video, I think you do, I would highly recommend buying up-to-date professional software. So for editing audio, I highly recommend investing in a DAW. But Matt, what's a DAW? Thanks Matt, glad you asked. So DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. It's what you use to record audio tracks into, as well as what you use to mix and master your final product. And it's what all the music producers use to make those Grammy-winning tracks that you hear on the radio all the time. Those really deep-cutting, feel-good tracks all use these software. For example, I use Logic for all my projects. Some Grammy award-winning musicians who also use Logic are Billie Eilish and Jacob Collier. So it's extremely effective software in my opinion, if it can win you Grammys. Other industry standard DAWs include Pro Tools and Ableton. And some of this free software you might still be using include GarageBand and Audacity. But trust me, once you make the upgrade, you'll never want to go back to the free software. Trust me on that one. Now for the video, there's some great options as well. The two that come to mind immediately are Final Cut and Adobe Premiere. I use Final Cut for my projects, and once I started using Final Cut, my videos were just so much more clean looking, so much more professional. My earliest videos on my channel were done using iMovie, and if you want to take a look at those, go for it. And you can tell just by watching them for a few seconds that the quality from my old videos versus the quality of my new videos, it's just night and day, so much better. So there's direct evidence of how much upgrading your software can really affect your videos. So please, do yourself a favor, check out my early videos, like, comment, subscribe, and then check out my latest videos, like, comment, subscribe. Record the video and the audio separately. I kind of hinted at this earlier when I said I record the audio directly into Logic. So when do I record the video, might you ask? And I usually record the video after I record the audio. That way I can take unlimited takes of the audio, because you're never going to get it perfectly the first time. So I want to take unlimited takes of just the audio. That way I'm not taking up all my storage doing so many takes of video. That way I can master the audio completely and then do the video in just one try and be done. And once the audio is done, I just play it back, play along with the video, or I don't even have to play since I'm not even using that audio. And then I sync up a nice clean video with perfectly done audio, and that's how I make my products. And do you really think that when they make those music videos and they're dancing around with all the smoke and outside and they're driving their cars real fast, they're not recording audio when they make those, they're playing it back and then lip singing. And these multi-track projects are essentially music videos, so there's no reason you can't do that too. Tip number 7. Look like you're having fun. So this goes along with my last tip, talking about the musicals, but also talking about recording the video and the audio separately. When you record the video and the audio separately, you don't need to worry about playing perfectly when you're doing the video. So that gives you the freedom and the opportunity to be more visually interesting and look like you're having a great time. Alright, sorry fellow classical musicians, but I'm calling you out right now. Whenever I see you guys play, you look bored out of your minds, like there's no movement or expression whatsoever. It looks like it's just, sorry, it's just not fun to watch. Alright, so I'm going to show you 2 different video clips, but with no sound. Tell me which one's more interesting to watch. The second one, right? I agree. And because you're not actually playing when you record the video for these music videos, you have no excuse not to look like you're not having a good time. Trust me, it adds so much and your audience is really going to appreciate it. Tip number 8. Use good lighting and color correction. This is something I'm still trying to improve on. I'm not the best at it yet, admittedly. At the very least, don't make it look like you're playing in the dark. Avoid dimly lit rooms, it just doesn't look good, I'm sorry. And avoid recording next to windows, glass doors in the daytime, because artificial light and sunlight mixed together doesn't look great on camera. So if you have a room in your home that doesn't have any sunlight, that might be the perfect spot to do your videos. A lot of YouTubers go out of the way to buy like studio lights, and it really brings out the colors on their clothes, the background, just their skin, and it really makes a world of a difference. And just little things like that can really add to your videos. And in your video editing software, you can adjust the contrast, the saturation, the warmth. You can do all those things just to make it look better and make it look like a more refined professional product. And it's just one of those simple, easy things that if you do the bare minimum, it just makes your videos look so much better. Number 9, don't use the same shot for your entire video. So this is what I think make my videos stand out. Don't just leave the same shot up for the entire video. Tell a story. Take the audience on a journey. Alright, like for example, when I did Fanfare for the Common Man, I opened up with the trumpets and I kind of like introduced the cast of my musicians. I had their names and everything, and I kind of introduced and kind of hyped up how many people were in the video. And then when the horns came in, I featured them. Then the low brass came in and I featured the low brass. And as the video went on, There was just more people in the shot. There was just different templates and formations that I used. And then the final shot had everyone, and that was what I was building up to. I took the audience on a journey, a story, to this big climactic moment at the end, and this big brass chord, and I thought it was really effective, and it's the most successful video on my channel. Now imagine the effect if I just took that last shot, for example, with everyone on the screen, and that was the only thing anyone ever saw for the entire video. It would be much more boring, wouldn't it? It would take the whole storyline kind of effect of building up to the climax. It would just take away all of that. So be creative with these videos. Tell a story. Even in my previous video, I did an arrangement of Senorita by Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, and I did a looping arrangement. And when the different layers came in, I had a new video, and I visualized the stacking and building of layers with each new video that came in. So I was able to connect what the audience was hearing with something they could see, so that they could visually see the concept. And I thought that really added to the performance. And when I did Jaws, I did a brass ensemble arrangement of the theme from Jaws. Check that out. Like, comment, subscribe. I had a big dramatic zoom in where it was shaking. There was intensity building up, like the shark was slowly coming at you, ready to take a big bite out of you. And I thought it was really effective. And I hope that making this point and giving these examples is putting some ideas in your head of different creative things you can do with these projects. And like I said in step number 7, make it look like you're having fun. Make the audience think you're having the time of your life when you're editing your videos. Because if they think that, they're going to have the time of their life when they're watching their videos. That might be a little too dramatic, but they're going to really enjoy it if they can tell that you enjoy making your videos. So if you really want to capture your audience's attention, and you really want to stand out from the other people who are making these multi-track videos, you really need to tell a story and put in the extra effort, rather than just throwing all your videos into one shot and just calling it a day. Alright, finally, step number 10. Watch and learn from the pros. So there's a bunch of people up on YouTube who are just experts at this. I learned everything I know, honestly, from just watching them and figuring out how I can replicate what they were doing. So to finish off this list, I'm going to provide you a list of names of YouTubers who I have watched and who I have learned from just by watching their videos, and who I think you should watch too. I'm not going to cover all the people I know because that would take forever, so I'm just going to highlight a few names who I think you should really check out. By the way, none of these YouTubers asked me to endorse them or give them a shout out. I just legitimately really like their stuff, think they do an incredible job at what they do, and some of them are actually people I know personally, so I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And also, I'm going to try to touch on YouTubers from every family of instruments, just to satisfy as many people as possible in this video. But I will tell you, the majority of people I learned from do not play my instrument. They're not trumpet players, most of these people. So don't feel afraid to step outside your comfort zone. You can learn a lot from people who don't play your instrument. Alright, we're going to hit brass players first, since we're number 1, right? So I'm going to start off with Christopher Bill. Now, Chris is one of the best multi-trackers out there. He's the kind of person that the Chicago Symphony hits up when they need a virtual concert edited. What I like about Chris is not only is he an amazing trombone player, audio engineer, and video editor, is that he looks like he's having so much fun in his videos and he puts so much effort into them. And in my opinion, that's what makes it so enjoyable to watch. He also has a lot of clever arrangements, a lot of them which use looping, which, as you can see on my channel, was clearly an inspiration to me. Next we have Seb Skelly. He is the one-man brass quintet himself, and he's just a monster arranger. What I like the most about Seb is that he uses humor in his videos, and he just looks like he's having the time of his life, and that's so fun to watch. He's just not afraid to move around and look like he's having a great time. He also uses color grading, which we talked about, and goes as far as to pick out different outfits for different videos to match whatever style of music he's playing. And he also might be able to spot me in a few of his videos. Go check him out. So I could name a ton of brass YouTubers, but I'm just going to name one more just for the sake of moving things along, and I'm going to name Scott Sutherland. Now what I like about Scott is that all of his videos look super professional, like LA studio made. The camera work, the lighting, the music themselves, the arrangement, the playing, it's all just so professionally well done. He sets the bar super high. It's really quite inspiring, and also he's just such a wonderfully amazing, friendly guy, and I think you should really check him out. Alright, moving on to woodwinds, we're going to talk about Laura Campbell. She's a clarinet player. So she really takes the multitracking to the extreme with her recent virtual concert band project. You can actually find me in a few of those videos if you look hard enough. And these videos feature hundreds of people in each one. So the amount of time and dedication she puts into this is like truly remarkable. So if you're ever looking to make like a mass collaboration with like hundreds of people, definitely check out Laura. Alright, moving on to strings. We're going to start with Davey 504. Epic. Alright, now Davey 504 is not the first person we think of when we think about multi-track videos, but he uses a lot of the things we talked about in his videos, especially the covers. They're just really well done, and they're enjoyable to watch. A lot of his video editing is really creative, and the humor he adds to all of his videos really knocks it out of the park. It's really not a question why he's one of the most subscribed musicians on YouTube right now. Next up, we're going to talk about a classic early 2010s YouTuber, Mystery Guitar Man. He's another YouTuber who takes some of these projects to the extreme and just puts so much time and effort to them, and they're incredibly enjoyable to watch. Some of his projects are extremely creative, like I would never think of these things in a million years, so definitely worth checking out. Alright, vocalists, didn't forget about you. So I'm going to start out by giving a shout out to Pentatonics. Their new album, At Home, uses a lot of the techniques that we talked about in this video. Their arrangements, as always, are amazing. I learned a lot from just studying their arrangements, but the video editing in their newest videos just sets the bar so high. Especially the lighting and the color grading, it's just absolutely studio perfect. Now, I can't make an all-star list of multi-trackers without mentioning Jacob Collier. So the recordings this guy puts out are just absolutely incredible. He just released a new album a week ago, and he's just an absolutely phenomenal player. Unbelievable. And the videos he puts out are also super engaging. He definitely puts a lot of time into them. And the earlier arrangements he made to the Grammy-winning stuff that he's producing now, it's unbelievable. Definitely check out Jacob if you don't know who he is already. Alright, now I'm going to finish off this list with one of the real OGs of multi-track videos, and that is Eric Whitaker with his virtual choirs. So I remember when his very first virtual choir came out, I was in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school at the time, and he just blew everyone's mind. I remember my band director coming in, and he just kept talking and talking about it. He was just so excited about it. And the video production of these projects are just off the charts. They're so like Hollywood professionally done. And the most recent one he put out, Virtual Choir 6, I believe, had over 17,000 people in it. It's just making my head hurt how long it took to edit that. And just the dedication of putting that kind of project together is just so inspiring. So who did I leave off this list? Please leave a comment with anyone I left out. I would really like to check out some new people. So I know I left percussionists off the list. I'm sorry, I really just don't know any YouTube percussionists. I know Mystery Guitar Man does a lot of percussion stuff, but I don't know anyone who does just percussion. So, sorry. But again, leave a comment if you know anyone. I would definitely love to discover new people. Alright, that's going to be it for today. And as the old saying goes, please like, comment, subscribe. I have a Patreon if you want to support me. And should I make more of these videos? Is there anything I should clarify further? Leave a comment with all your suggestions, critiques, anything you want to tell me. I read every single one. Alright, that's it. See you next week. See ya.